Make sure nobody's following me. This place is super creepy. Hey, wait! What's that sign? I can barely read it. Quadrivium narrative enigma. Hey, I remember that from Latin class. Quadrivium, that's an ancient school for mathematics. Narrative, a story, and enigma, that's another word for mystery. Kids, let's go check it out. It looks like the sign's pointing that way. Come on. Let's go in. Oh, check it out. It's a creepy skeleton hand. But what's in it? It looks like it's a scroll. What's it saying? The Silverwood Junior High School is having a fundraising event. They're having a costume party. Parents are charged $5, students $2.50. If 320 students show up, how many parents need to show up in order for the student body to fundraise $2,500? Kids, this is pre-algebra word problems. Now I understand the mystery. The mystery is the Quadrivium narrative enigma. Quadrivium is the school of mathematical arithmetic. Narrative is a story, and an enigma is a mystery. This is a mystery. How do we mysteriously solve pre-algebra word problems? Kids, let's head back to the Genius Lab and figure out a solution to these types of problems.
Kids, Quadrivium narrative enigma, you already know what it means. It's basically word problems in mathematics. So if you haven't had physics yet, this is basically all physics is. It's taking words and doing a bunch of stuff with these words, and you have to translate those words into a mathematical formulation for calculations. So if you're planning on doing physics, this is a great way to warm up with word problems. All right, kids, so here are a bunch of different scenarios you're going to run into for ACT. I just basically pulled out a bunch of tests, looked at what's on there, and this is what I came up with. So the first thing you're going to see is there's quite a bit of money problems on here. They're going to ask you to convert between pennies and cents and dollars. Probability, we'll go over some of those problems as well. You'll need to do a review for scientific notation. This also is going to be really good for physics and some of the other courses you may be taking dealing with science. Diagrams and graphs, you'll see that stuff that needs to be translated. They'll give you a verbal description and text, and then you have to calculate, convert that into a formula. Cluster groups, what's that? They're going to give you a scenario up here, and then it's going to say some stuff like the next three problems are based off of this, and then there will be like problem 31, 32, and 33 based off of the original problem. Usually there's 3 of them in the cluster set, and usually there's 2 on the test, so those are cluster groups. Alright, you're going to need to be able to do ratios. Also, we'll quickly review geometric sequencing. Manipulating formulas and rewriting them. So they're going to present the formula one way, and then they're going to ask you to solve for something and isolate one of the variables, and so you'll have to rewrite, subtract this from this side and add that to that side and so forth. You may see word problems coming from algebra. In algebra, the two main things here are factoring and foiling. Whenever you see an algebra problem, just be thinking factoring and foiling and trying to force it into that. Those are the two concepts for the majority of the algebra problems. Just look close and see if you can see somehow they're going to word crazy stuff into, hey, you need to factor this, or hey, you need to FOIL that. All right? Sometimes you're going to get some coordinate geometry, and this coordinate geometry is going to be presented maybe in one of these cluster groups. They'll give you something, and then they'll give you something based off of that. So coordinate geometry. And finally, geometry in the form of land shapes. It could be some type of a telephone pole, and then the angle. It could be a lake. It could be a pond adjoined to a lake. It could be it's some type of geometrical shape dealing with land, and they're going to give you a bunch of text. So you're going to need to read the text, just like in science, underline what's important, and then convert that into a mathematical formula. Kids, here's the logistics. This test in front of you have is test 71E. It's a real ACT test. We are currently in the movie M8, the Quadrivium narrative enigma. What we're going to go ahead and do now is we'll pause the video and we're going to go through the PDF test file and do only the problems. Yes, only the yellow ones. When they're highlighted in yellow, that will correspond to this video here, M8. When you're done doing all the problems that are highlighted in yellow, you're going to look at the answers in the back of the PDF and correct only the problems that are located or identified as being yellow problems. Then what we'll do is we'll turn the video on again, and if you've got anything wrong, you can go ahead and watch the explanation to the problems for each corresponding video. For example, M8, the Quadrivium narrative enigma, only will explain the yellow problems. Then what we'll do is we'll move on either another day or another time, and we would do the next movie. The next movie would be M9, still using the same tests. M9 is Ransack at the Wizard's Lair. What we would do then is we would watch the movie. Then what we would do is we would do only the pink problems that are identified in the PDF as pink problems. When you're done doing the pink problems, you will correct it with the answers in the back, and then watch the explanations to the problems that you got wrong. Final video here for this test is M10. It's a baker's dozen. What is a baker's dozen? I don't know. You'll find out in that video. What we'll do is watch that video, and we will go ahead and do only the problems that appear in orange. You watch the movie, do the orange problems, then in the back of the test, you're going to go ahead and you're going to correct problems that are only identified as orange problems. Then you'll watch the videos for the problems that you got wrong. At the end of these 3 movie lessons, you will have completed the full test. 71E. Then what you will do is you will ask one of the assistants or Professor Thomas for a review sheet. A review sheet basically will help you categorize the problems that you're getting wrong. Simply write down the problems that you got wrong. There you have it. It's a quick overview, kids. Now, pause the video here. We'll come on back with the answers and explanations to only the yellow problems in this movie. Problem number 3, at lightning speed. Basically, here's what you're going to do. You're going to add up all the shares, 50, 30, 70. That gives you a total of 150 shares, and then you're going to multiply it by 4.05. When you do that, you're going to get 60750, which is going to be answer choice E. Probability for problem number 6, we're going to do it 2 ways. So the first way is super easy because we're only at problem number 6, but I'll show you another way called kid logic over here in case they ask you a more difficult question a little bit later in the 30s or the 40s or the 50s of the actual ACT test. So for right now, problem 6, first thing you want to do is you want to list all this stuff off. So you've got 11 red, okay, you have 9 yellow, and you have 5 green. You just simply list all these off, and then it tells you that your white value is going to be n. All right, so let's add all that up. So 11 and 9 is 20, plus 5 is 25, and then we have an n value, so it's 25 plus n. All right, that's the total. Now they're asking us what the probability of yellow is. Well, we already know that yellow is 9, so it would be 9 over 25 plus n, which is going to give you answer choice K. All right, kid logic tells you that math is supposed to be about numbers, so I would want to get rid of this n. So I just randomly select an easy number to work with for n, like 2. Could be 3, could be 4, could be 5, whatever. I just choose 2. Okay, so if you say n equals 2, which is the white value, now you could get rid of this and then put 2 here, which would give you 27, right? Now the calculation would be 9 over 27. You with me? A harder question would ask you, one of these problems here would ask you about a percentage. All right, so 9 over 27, if you calculate this out and divide this out, the decimal on this would be 0.33. 0.33. All right, so one of the other answer choices over here, it might be, 1/3, or it might be, 2 times the square root of something that would equal 0.33. So here's the trick: divide this out. Well, excuse me, select your number for the letter, calculate it out, right, and then get it down into a decimal, and then go fishing for the same decimal by converting your answer choices. That's how you would do some kid logic for probability. Problem number 8, quick review for scientific notation. Basically what you want to do is find the decimal, and then you're just going to move it to the left and count the spots. All right, so here's our answer choices. Here's the decimal: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. All right, it's going to be 3.03 times 10 to the 8th. That will give you answer choice H. All right, so it's important that you write everything down. It looks like the fee for the whole thing was $98. There's a $50 charge, right? Okay, so if it costs $50, we subtract 50 from 98. Okay, so that gives us $48 for the gas bill. All right, she said that there was an error of $21. All right, so we subtract $21 for the gas because the error didn't come from the rental. So 48 minus 21 is going to give you 27. Okay, so that's the fee for the gas. All right, and then how much was the gas per gallon? Looks like the gas per gallon was $3. So 27 divided by 3 will give you 9 for the correct answer of C. Let's quickly review some Venn diagrams. So Venn diagrams are going to be circles or triangles or squares or rectangles that are going to overlap. All right, so here we have the different groups: band, choir, and orchestra. And then here's the overlapping part. All right, here is the trick on this one. It says at least 2. All right, what's the number of students who were placed in at least 2? Okay, so here's how you read these Venn diagrams. If you look, band and choir, there was, between these two, there was 13. Between band and orchestra, there was 7. Okay, and between choir and orchestra, there was 2. So if it said how many were involved in 2, then you would simply add these up. 13 and 7 is 20, plus 2 gives you 22, right? But this problem is tricky because it says at least 2, which means it could be 3. So now you see in the middle, this is the overlap between all 3, band, choir, and orchestra. right? So you have to add in the 5. 22 and 5 is 27, which is going to give you answer choice E. Problem 24, you're going to notice that the consistency in the way I present the material here is always write stuff down, kids. All right, so here's what we're doing. We're looking for the point on the graph, which is going to give you the end of each day, and we want to find here the least number of miles traveled on the whole trip. Okay, so here's how you read it. Here's day, and here's day 1. Day 1, we ended at 750 and we started at 0. So let's write that down. Day 1, we went from 750 to 0, which is a total of 750 miles. Okay, then we go down to day number 2. Okay, day 2, I write it down. Okay, and day 2 is here. All right, so where did we end? 875. So 875 minus 750, that gives us 125. We write it down again. Okay, then we go over here, we take a look at day 3. Okay, where's day 3? Day 3 is here. Okay, and we're at 1250 minus 875. So 1250 minus 875 is 375. We write it down. See how we're just doing a quick calculation, subtracting. Okay, we go to day 4. Day 4, where is it? It's up here because it says day 4. All right, 1500 minus 1250 for day 4. That's an easy calculation. That gives you 250. Okay, and we go over to day number 5. Find day 5. There it is up there. And now we're at 2500 minus 1500 gives you 1000. All right, so we have everything laid out, and now we can answer the question. All right, we're looking for the one that has the least miles of the 5 days. Well, it's day 2, and that's going to give you answer choice G for 24. All right, here's what we call a cluster grouping, because we're going to do problem 29 through 31 off of this information here. All right, so 29, it says gardener plans on fertilizing the region of the grass. Okay, and it's one bag is going to give you 225 square feet of grass. Okay, well, we already know from a calculation up here, we found the area of the grass area. Okay, the area of the grass is 24 times 50. Okay, which gives you 1200. Okay, so we write that down, and then it says that one bag is going to give you 225. All right, so it's 225 here, and we're going to go ahead 1200 divided by 225. That gives you 5.33 bags. All right, now here's the trick. If you got this wrong, probably didn't see here, it says what's the minimum number of bags. Well, if we need 5 1/3 bags, if you used 5 bags here in C, there's 0.33 is not gonna, there's an area that's not gonna be covered, right? So the minimum number is actually gonna be 6. So make sure that you see the tricky wording on that, 29D. Problem 30, super common for ACT here. They're gonna give you 2 rectangles, one on the inside, one on the outside. Here we have the grassy area and the flowers. They're asking about the border on the flowered area. Here's the grassy areas, 50 and 24. Now, they increase each by 5. So if you have 24 and 5 here and 5 here, 5 and 5 is 10 plus 24 is 34. Okay, and basically what you want to do is you want to find the perimeter. So you're going to go 34 on both sides, and then 50 plus 5 and 5 is 10. That's 60. So 60 on both sides, and then you're going to add all this up. Okay, 60 plus 60 plus 34 plus 34 is going to give you 188. 30 is K. All right, here we go with the conversion from inches to feet and feet to yards and all that stuff. So it's pretty common on test day here. All right, we're going to go ahead and we're going to build a walkway made out of cement around the flower border. All right, so that's going to be 60 feet, right? And 1 foot equals 3 feet. So 60, we're going to have to divide that by 3. Okay, you should know that information. 3 feet equals 1 yard. All right, 60 divided by 3 is going to give us 20 yards. That's the length. Okay, Then it tells us that it's going to be 3 feet wide. Well, 3 feet wide is going to be 1 yard, okay? So that's going to be 1 yard wide. And then this is the length, okay? And then here it tells us that it's 4 inches thick, and it gives you that information. It's 1/9, all right? Basically, for the height of that, it's going to be 1/9. What I did is I just simply divided that out. It's easier for me to work with decimals, all right? When you divide it out, it gives you 0.111, all right? And what you want to do is you want to go ahead and just throw that into a calculation, all right? So you're going to go 20 times 1 times 0.111. When you add all that up, it's going to give you 2.22, all right, yards. That's your answer. Now what you do is you have to convert everything over here. So that's not 2, all right? If it was a little bit harder of a problem, maybe in the 40s, they would have given you some, maybe this was a 2 or something, then you just simply divide this out. 2 divided by 9, which would give you 0.222. B is the answer for problem 31. We didn't have to take it that far, but just in case you see what we would do if we had a harder problem. Problem 32, probability, classic Professor Thomas style, write everything down to stay organized. All right, we've got a coin, all right, CN, and there's 2 sides, so the probability of heads is 1/2, or tails is also 1/2, all right? And then we have the cube, CB, and the cube, it looks like there's 6 sides here, and there's a chance of 2 sides being red, 2 sides being yellow, and 2 sides being green, all right? We want to know what are the chances of tails and yellow. So what we're going to do is we're going to simply just multiply these 1/2, right, times 2/6, all right? Classic Professor Thomas, lazy, lazy, lazy. I don't like fractions, so what do? I just divide this out right away, all right? When I do that, I get 0.5, all right? And then 2/6 can be reduced to 1/3, which you already know is going to be 0.33, all right? Then what you do is you just simply multiply those 2 together, okay? And when you do that, you come up with 0.166. Let's take it out 1 point further, 165. All right, great. Then what we want to do is we want to go ahead and dive into your answer choices and calculate your answer as 1/12. Is that 0.1665? Nope. You see over here, H is the correct answer. 1 divided by 6 is 1/665. See what I did here? Calculate and convert fractions always into decimals, and then calculate your answer choices out. Problem 36, trickster problem here. They're trying to trick you into thinking this is an actual coordinate geometry problem, when actually it's not. Very common on the test here. This is actually Pythagorean theorem. So they give you some XY coordinates, and then they ask you for the distance, which is going to be between the 2 cities, and that each one of these coordinate unit points is 25 miles. So here's what I did. I went ahead, wrote down as I usually do. I list everything off, all right? Here is our X value, 5 and 9. So 9 minus 5 equals 4. All right. And then it says our Y value is 12 and 6. So 12 minus 6 is 6. All right. That gives you the distance here. Then I went ahead and used Pythagorean theorem. A squared plus B squared equals C squared. Okay. And I plug my numbers in here, all right? So 4 squared is 16, and 6 squared is 36, all right? 16 plus 36 gives you 52, and the square root of 52 on your calculator will give you 7.21. All right, so it's 7.21 units, not miles. All right. Now it tells you that each one of these units is 25 miles. So another calculation, 25 times 7.21 is going to give you 180, which will give you answer choice H. Another type of a ratio problem here. It looks like there's candy sales between juniors and seniors. All right. Here's the ratio. It's 3 to 2. Here is what I do. It's the golden rule for me. 3 to 2 tells me that when you add those together, that's going to equal a total amount of 5. All right. So if we have juniors, and the juniors are 3, so it's 3 over the total, which is 5, okay? And the seniors are 2 over 5, all right? So I just simply write that down right away. 2 over 5, because it's 3 and 2 makes 5 total for the group. All right, then let's plug our numbers in here. It looks like the juniors are at 50, all right? So 3 over 5 times 50, and 2 over 5 times 40 for the seniors. All right, so that's how I set this up. And then, of course, Professor Thomas classic, get rid of the fraction. So 3 divided by 5 gives you 0.6. 0.6 times 50, it's a lot easier. What I did, when I got that, I got 30 off that. And then for the seniors, 2 divided by 5, that gives you 40%. 40% of 40 gives you 16. And then what we do is we add those two together. 30 and 16 gives you 46. And there you have it, J. 44. Here's what I did. First thing I did, I came over here, and it looks like we're going to go ahead and simplify. All right, it's algebra, and it's a word problem. So it tells us that we've got two people, Min and Blanca, all right? And so Min's expression was x plus 3 squared, all right? So if we're going to simplify that, let's go ahead and just do the old FOIL. So let's get rid of this square root here, and then put that over here. So x plus 3 times x plus 3, all right? So I did that, and then you're going to go ahead and first, outer, inner, last FOIL, okay? And when you do that, you're going to see that we're going to get x squared, all right? Boom, boom, x plus 3. X, all right, and then inner, it's going to be plus 3 plus x, so it's going to be another plus 3x, and then the last term is going to be 3 times 3, which is going to give you a positive 9. All right, now here, if you got this wrong, you probably forgot about this. So now we're going to have to go minus x squared, all right? So now what we do is combine like terms. So we've got our x squareds here, positive x squared, negative x squared, we get rid of that. And then we've got 3x and a 3x, which is going to give us 6x, which is positive, right? And then you're going to have plus 9. And that is going to give you answer choice G, all right? Whenever you see stuff like this, think factor and think FOIL. Those are the two main concepts for ACT algebra. All right, problem number 50, geometric sequencing. All right, we know the first 3 terms, okay, and we're going to try and predict what the 4th term is. Okay, so here's what we do. First thing that we want to do is we want to go ahead and write our term down, okay, and watch what I do here, because this is pretty cool. All right, we've got 4, we've got 6, and we have 9, right? All right, when we do that, this is what we're going to be thinking of. Okay, there is a magic number that we're going to be multiplying this to get to this, and then multiplying that same number to get to that. So let's just call that magic number x. So 4 times the unknown number, which is x, is going to equal that number, 6. You with me? Okay, let's continue on. So 6 times that same number, which is magic number, mystery number we called x, all right, When we go 6 times that number, x, that's going to give us 9. So we just write that down there, right? So then when we come down over here, we see that now we have 9 times x is going to equal the number, that's the 4th term. All right? So let's do some algebra and just calculate what that is. 4 times what number is going to give you 6? All right, a simple calculation tells you that your x value is going to equal 1.5. 4 times 1.5 equals 6. 6 times 1.5 equals 9. So 9 times 1.5, what does that equal? That equals 13.5, which is answer choice J. Sequencing, kids, see what I did? 50, J. All right, 52 is part of the cluster grouping, and you see that there's 51, 52, and 53 in here. If you're interested in doing log problems, as in the previous problem up here, 51, and problem 53 down over here, go to our other website, www.quantumactprep.com, find test 71E, and go ahead and watch the video. Raj will walk you through 51 and 53 for log problems. For right now, we're in pre-algebra word problems, and here we're going to go ahead and solve this problem. So we're going to take the formula from above, and that formula, let's write it down here so we have it handy. V, okay, that's the valuation of the car, equals the purchase price, V sub O, okay. We're going to go ahead and multiply that by 1 minus R. R is going to be the depreciation, and then we're going to put that to the exponent of t, which is time. All right, it tells us, and this is the part maybe that you get confused on, a used car with a purchase price. So is this the valuation price, or is this the original price? Here it says purchase price. Even though it's a used car, that's what we're trying to solve for here. All right, so the purchase price here is V sub O. So let's plug our numbers in. All right, so we've got V equals purchase price of 20,000. All right, and then we're going to go ahead and multiply that by 1 minus the valuation of 0.1. All right, and it says for the time of 3 years. So that's how you set that problem up. Then you just go 20,000 times 1 minus 0.1 to the 3rd power, and that's going to solve for V. When you do that, that gives you 14,580, which is answer choice H. Probably the confusion came here with purchase price and used car for 52. Pretty easy problem, straightforward, however a bit confusing the way that they word it. Problem 59, it's a systems problem, kids, all right? So this is what they give us. This is what we have to get it in that form, and we're going to try and solve for A. All right, so here's what I did. I came over here and I got rid of the denominator of 3, so I multiplied everything by 3. All right, when I did that, I came over here and I saw that 3 times y gives me 3y, right? And then that's going to equal 4x. And that's a positive 4x, and then 3 times a negative 2 is going to give me a negative 6. All right, so far so good, but that's not what we have here. So let's get the y on the other side, okay? So I went ahead and I went like this. So, all right. And over here, if we add 6 on this side, we can put the equal side over here. So let's put that over here. So 6 equals 4x minus 3y. Cool. That's pretty close to what we have over here. So let's do one more thing. Let's just flip this around. Okay, so we're going to go 4x minus 3y, what we have, right? And then we'll just put the equal sign nothing changes, equals positive 6. Cool. Alright, see what I just did there? Now we have everything in standard order. So over here, let's rewrite this up here. So now, let's change the pen color. Let's do, how about blue? Okay, cool. So here we go. We've got 4x minus 3y and what does that equal? 6. Cool. Look at what we have. 4x, 8x, 12x, 6, 12, 18. 3, 6, A equals 9. B.
Gotcha. No sleeping at the combines. I saw you in the back in study carrels, dozing off. Ha ha.